Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be going through some Strike Your Own coins. Now, I have got most of the Strike Your Owns, barring 2, 3 if you include the latest one to be released by the Royal Mint, George Orwell, but I do have my dates to go down to get that. If you'd like to come along and get a Strike Your Own coin and say hi to me, I'm down there on the 16th of March for the George Orwell Strike Your Own and the 13th of April for the Red Arrows 50p. Both tours at 2 p.m, so feel free to come along and say hi. Now, let's get to the coin it first started. I do have a bit of a spreadsheet in front of me just to remind me of some of the dates, mintages and prices. So we're going to start with the round pound coin, the first ever Strike Your Own coin at the Royal Mint Experience, available from May 2016 to December 2016 with 40,858 minted by visitors. Mintage figures I got from a variety of sources, some clash a little bit, so I used my best judgment. I've also got together some prices. Now, prices I was using recently sold listings on eBay. Obviously different places might sell them for different prices. I took an average of the last 5 to sell, barring any that sold for bonkersly high money compared to the group, or those that sold for massively under the sort of average. So I just took an average of them. Most of them I could get an average of 5, but I was surprised by how many there weren't, or there weren't sales figures for, recent sales for, or there wasn't sales figures for, or very limited sales figures for, that I could compare to. So take those prices with a pinch of salt, but the average on this one was £19. There were a lot of those produced though. That was then replaced from January 2017 to October 2017 with the new pound coin, which is not very new anymore. A very cool coin. These were before I started getting them in, so these are ones that I have swapped, traded or bought. This one, average sort of price at the moment, £15. Moving on, we have the 2017 Isaac Newton, which I don't have. That was available from the October 2017 to December 2017 with 4,957 minted. The 2017 dated one is selling for about £32, which is kind of interesting. However, starting January 2018 to March 2018, you could get this one, the 2018 dated Isaac Newton 50p. The only way you can get a 2018 dated one, because they were struck in 2017 for collector's sets and circulation, but only the Strike Your Own for 2018. However, there was 20,826 minted, so people got the idea. Ooh, only way to get this is a Strike Your Own, so loads of people turned up. So average price £28, so slightly less than the 2017 dated one, which is bizarre because that's the date the coin actually is. But such is the way with some of the bizarrities of coin collecting. Next we move on to another one I don't have, which was the 2018 £2 Britannia, 19,077 minted, average price £31. Then we get into a very cool one. I was tough to get this at the price I got it at. It is the Harry and Meghan Strike on the Day £5 coin. Well, not Strike on the Day because it was 2 days, I think it was. 19th of May to the 20th of May, according to the results I found. Very low minted, 508 were struck. Average price, there was only 2 that I could average out, £325. Unbelievable. But this is the king of the Strike Your Owns, although it has a prince and a princess on it, so whatever. Moving on, we then have the first coin I struck myself at the Royal Mint Experience, running from October 2018 to November 2018. I think I went into the October, which annoyingly means I just missed out on the Harry and Meghan one with my visits. I've not missed a Strike Your Own since this one. There were 6,740 minted, average pricing £30 now. But no, my first trip to the Royal Mint Experience, I only struck one coin. Rookie mistake, right? I now strike the maximum, and if I can take someone else along and get extras from them, bonus. We move on to the only other £5 coin as a Strike Your Own. It was the Nutcracker £5 coin. Very nice design. Again, this one and the previous £5 coin, the Harry and Meghan, came in these little pouches, and there is a certificate that goes along with it. But it's not coming out, so you have to take my word, there is a certificate in there for the coin. Nutcracker, there's 3,808. It ran from November to the December of 2018, and average price of these were £50, which is not bad. Lots of these I do have in duplicate, but I didn't get all my duplicates out because they're all boxed up, and that had been a faff. Okay, January 2019 to March 2019, we had the new pence, 50 pence, celebrating 50 years of the 50p. 13,082 were struck, average sort of price £7. Not amazing, not the most exciting one as well, which has an impact on the prices. Then we move on to another definitive. It is the Britannia for 2019. Ran from April till the June. 9,770 were minted. Average sort of price was £28 when I was looking. Next up, we come on to Sherlock Holmes. Now, 2019 was the year that they started ramping these up a little bit. Very nice design. Ran from the June to September 2019. 8,197 minted. Average price at the moment, £22. I was surprised with some of them at how low some of the prices were. I was expecting quite a bit more, but there we go. We've got back to the definitive 50p in 20. Well, it wasn't a definitive in 2019, but it is a definitive design reused in 2019 because it was 50 years. The 50p has a little preview mark to the side of the 50 there, so it sets it apart from the previous one we looked at. This one ran from September to the October of 2019. Mintage of 3,428. Average price £26. Sorry, I'm reading from the wrong column. Then we move on. This is our first vertical one because this is the orientation we now get them in. I do miss these sort of really unique packages because it looks like a bit of a rocket. It's a bit toned, but unfortunately it's just the case with the Strike Your Owns. The packaging does tone it. Ran from October to November 2019. Mintage figure 3,429. Average price 30 quid. Then we move on to a very exciting one, 2019 Snowman. So this was just available in the December of 2019, taking over from Wallace and Gromit. There was only 877 of these minted, very low number there. Average price, I've highlighted it because I think it was only the one I found that sold recently, sold for £50. So take that with a pinch of salt. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually sell for a bit more, but the supply of these are certainly drying up. Okay, moving on, £2 definitive Britannia. Just available in the January of 2020. Average price on these £45 with the low mintage 2,084. But no, very nice. Then we get to our first proper strike on the day, only available on the 31st of January 2020. Was available for 24 hours. This one is quite toned now. You can see it looks a bit goldy. But anyway, with this one, it was 24 hours. You could strike the coin. You could do multiple tours as well. You could do one as long as they were an hour apart and strike up to 3 coins. Previous coins, I can't remember when it did used to change with the different coins. I remember one I could strike 5 myself, which is unbelievable. But no, Brexit strike on the day. There's a bit of discussion over mintage figures, some providing overall mintages, because this then went on to be the standard strike. I don't know why I've got these in the wrong order. Became the standard strike. You can see the difference is just the packaging. The coin is absolutely the same. So sometimes the guides I was looking at had combined mintages, although I did find a guide that suggested the strike on the day there was 6,106 struck. Average price is £17. The standard Brexit Strike Your Own was available for the rest of February until for February 2020. I've got my notes. Oh yeah, because 31st January is the end of January. Duh. Anyway, February 2020, 1,793. So bizarrely, a lower mintage on the non-strike on the day. Average price of this one's £21 compared to £17 for that. I guess it's a strike on the day. Everyone assumed this was going to be really low minted and desirable, so everyone turned up to strike them, and it was 24 hours all day long. We then move on to, I've got these backwards, oh no. Right, Megalosaurus ran from February till March 2020. There were 3,679 struck, average price of £16. We then move on to the Iguanodon, which is another interesting bump in the road. It was available for, I think, 2 days in 2020. Yeah, the 16th to 17th of March. And then we all got put on lockdown and couldn't go out and about. But when the Royal Mint experience reopened in July of 2020, this one ran until the September of 2020. The mintage figure I might have confused with the previous one, unless weirdly it's the same mintage at 3,679, but I can only do my best. Average price on this £18, although when it was only available for 2 days they did spike in price, but then when it reopened and it was available again, they were much cheaper. I've got a wonky one here. It's not a rotation error, it's just been put in the packaging wonky. It is decimal day. I remember I went to this one on my own on my birthday back in 2020. Yeah. So this one ran from the May of 2020 until September of 2020. No, 2021. I've got the dates mixed up. So my apologies. Which means I've probably got the dates mixed up in previous ones, but oh well. This is what happens when I'm trying to give over too much information. Okay, anyway, this one, 8,167 was struck, average price £26. We are moving on now to a 2021 Britannia. Yeah, that's okay, the packaging matches. We're getting into the sort of homogenized packaging with a little bit of difference in certain places. So this £2 coin was available from September to the November 2021. 2,971 were struck, and I couldn't find any ones that were sold recently on eBay. Obviously eBay sold prices only go back so far, but bizarrely there were none listed either, so I'd be interested to see what one of these would sell for. It's a low mintage, although it's a definitive £2 coin, so maybe not the most exciting. We then move back to Snowman, the return of the Snowman in 2021, which is available November to December of 2021. 3,975 were minted, and again, couldn't find any ones that had recently sold or that were listed, so it would be interesting again to see what kind of price these would fetch. We move into 2022 with the Platinum Jubilee Standard Strike. This was available from January to the March of 2022. Average price on these were £19 with 4,636 minted. However, it was punctuated with a strike on the day of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Well, the day of her ascension to the throne. Again, there were some confusing information about whether they had what the combined or individual mintage was. However, I found one that suggested there was 2,250 struck on the day. Average price £20 compared to £19, so a pound difference. We move on next to the FA Cup. Let me just scroll down a little bit, I'm running out of space here. FA Cup £2 coin was available from March to the June of 2022 with a total of 5,496 minted, average price £20. Moving on, we have got the Commonwealth Games held in Birmingham. This ran from June to August 2022. Only 2,757 were minted. Average price was £69. However, we'll open it up. Not touch the coin, of course. There was a bit of an error here. Originally, it said celebrating the return of the Commonwealth Games to the UK. However, the Commonwealth Games is split by country, so it should be England. So originally it said UK. There was then also one, they put a sticker over this that said England, and then the later ones were actually printed like this one, England. So there's three versions, but it's a bit of a muchness. If you're an absolute completionist completer, I assume you probably want all three, but prices are quite similar for all three versions of it. It's just literally a change in the packaging. Moving on, very bizarre one. I found this very weird when it happened. It is Winnie the Pooh and Friends from 2022. This one ran from August to the November 2022. Weird because it was one coin of a 9-coin series. This is the only one that made it as a strike your own, which made it feel like it was just sort of a placeholder until the next thing. As I said, ran from August to the November 2022. Average price, I could only find one, sold for £18. Then we move on to, this was a surprise, that I think the Royal Mint, obviously the Royal Mint wasn't planning on. It's the Memorial 50p, minted following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. I think there was a reprieve, a pause in the Royal Mint strike your owns being available whilst they were taking their time. Right, this ran from October to November 2022, 3,979 minted. Average price, again, I think I've only got the one that sold recently at £25. So again, take the last one, this one, and the next one with a pinch of salt, because I could only find one example recently selling. We then move on to the first of the 4 Harry Potters that became the Strike Your Own. This is Harry Potter, of course. This one ran from November to the December of 2022, a mintage of 2,569. I could only find one that sold recently for £25. Take that with a massive grain of salt, because they were selling for bonkers money when the mintage figures initially came out. Absolutely crazy prices, so I wouldn't be surprised if this actually sold for more if more were put on eBay. Okay, we follow up with the Hogwarts Express. This ran from November to December 2022. Hogwarts Express, I did find a bit more variety of those that had sold. Average price was about £25. We then move on to 2023. Edward Jenner £2 coin. This one ran from the January to the February 2023. I haven't got the exact dates because that's way too much information for me to mess up during the video. 3,293 minted. Average price was about £19. Another tricky one, continuing with Harry Potter causing me issues in this video. Dumbledore, the third penultimate Strike Your Own Harry Potter 50p. I couldn't find any that sold recently. I could only find an average of listed prices, which was around £22, but again, I'm not sure that that would actually be the price it sells for on average. We then come on to the Hogwarts School. The final of the Harry Potter 50p's ran from the March to May 2023. Average price was about £16.50. We then have the Coronation Strike on the Day, available only on the 6th of May 2023, the day the king had his coronation. And again, the difference is just the packaging. The coin is identical to what then became the standard Strike Your Own. I thought the crowned and uncrowned versions would be nice. Crowned for the day, uncrowned for the rest of the run. So, Coronation Strike on the Day, 12,900, nope. Coronation Strike on the Day, I don't actually have a split of the mintage figures. I couldn't find that. Only a combined mintage for the two, which was 12,995. Average prices of the Strike on the Day, £32.50. Average price of the Standard Strike, £15.50. So there we go. Not all the information required was available, unfortunately. We then move on to, not this one, I've got them in the wrong order again. We have J.R.R. Tolkien, however you pronounce it, potato, right? This was one of my favourite designs of the year. It's a really snazzy design. I really like that. It ran from August to October 2023 with a mintage of 4,894. Average prices I saw £18 on that. However, for one day, Change Checker, for its 10th anniversary, took over the Royal Mint experience. I don't have mintage figures on how many of these were actually produced, but it was around 300 guests that could strike 3 each, but not all struck the maximum. Come in this unique Change Checker card. Annoyingly, doesn't have anything to cover the front of it, so make sure you don't touch it. So the average price on these were about £36, but be interested if we ever get mintage figures for that individual release. We then move on to the Atlantic Salmon. Now again, prices take with a pinch of salt, because this has now become a really desirable coin given how few were put into circulation. However, this does still have the preview mark next to the king's head, the same as with the BU packs, a nod to being the year of his coronation. There was 3,195 struck, and the average price on these I saw was about £50. But if more salmons get minted for circulation in subsequent years, I think the Atlantic Salmon will lose some of its shine. It'll still have a premium for the 2023 circulating one, but perhaps not as much as it is now. We then have 2023 Snowman, which a mintage figure of 6,144. Average prices were about £15. Then we're moving into 24 with the new definitive B design, which doesn't have the preview mark, of course, because they were only on the 2023 coins. Mintage of these 2017, which is very low, correlating to an average price of £24. It is a definitive design. It is a £1 coin, probably not the most collectible coin available, but there we go. Then we have the first of the 3 dinosaurs. We have the T-Rex. Ran from the B was just January 2024. The T-Rex ran from February to the March of 2024. 3,655 minted, average price £23. Moving on swiftly to our second dinosaur. Let me just bring these a bit closer so I'm not constantly reaching over for them. Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus ran from March to the May of 2024, a mintage of 4,124, averaging prices at £23. And then we finish off the dinosaurs with Diplodocus, however you want to pronounce it. Ran from the May to the September of 2024. The first one we don't have mintage figures for, which will potentially impact on prices, because the mintage figures, how many were actually made, does then correlate to the price. The lower the number, generally, the higher the price. These are averaging at the moment about £17, but again, all the prices for the rest of them, because we don't have mintage figures, could change very much as and when mintage figures come out. We then have 2024 Strike on the Day coin. It was the D-Day anniversary. Happened on a Thursday with not a lot of notice, so it was tricky for people to book off and wasn't quite as well attended as standard Strike on the Days, which have normally been at the weekend, or the Brexit, which was on the Friday. We don't have mintage figures for this. Average sort of price was £31 on that one. And then we move on to the Team GB. This obviously Strike on the Day, D-Day was just on the 6th of June. Team GB, that was my coin of the year for 2024. It ran from July to the September of 2024. When I looked at the average prices, they were selling for about £15. We're rattling through quite close to the end, so I apologise if we're going through this at pace. We've got lots of coins to cram into one video. I don't want the video to be too long. Anyway, RNLI was just available in September 2024. Average price at the moment, £22. We then have the Gruffalo, which ran from the October to the November of 2024. Average price on this one, £22. And then they crammed one more in for the year. We have the Snowman 50p. Just available November to December 2024. Average price at the moment £17.50. And then the last one that I have was the first one and only one I've gone to get this year so far. It is the Floral Definitive Emblems of the United Kingdom. Again, no mintage figures for this yet. Average price about £23. We then of course have the George Orwell, which I don't have yet. As I said, going down on the 16th of March at 2 p.m. to go and get that on the tour there. That's averaging about £17. However, there is the really exciting error that's got the wrong edge inscription. I was there on the Sunday, the last day this was the Strike Your Own. On the Monday it changed to the George Orwell, and they just started using the blanks from the previous day, which has this edge inscription in Servito Omnium, however you pronounce that. I think it's in service to all. So those coins are selling for bonkers money, and I wouldn't suppose that carries on going up, because there is still a supply of those ones. They are still trickling into eBay. There's normally 2 or 3 available, so I think when we get to the point maybe in a year's time when there's only one every now and again, that will certainly rocket in price. That's my opinion only. I don't know any more than the next person, but that's my own opinion. So the George Orwell is running from January to the April of this year, and then April it will change to the D-Day. Red Arrows 50p. Trying to do this all in one take without cuts and edits and fluffs up, but there we go. There's potentially also a Strike on the Day later this year in May for the VE Day anniversary. So if you need to book the time off work, I think it's a surefire bet that if you book that day off, you'll be able to go down and get the Strike on the Day. Tickets are not available. It's not been confirmed, but hints are that that's going to be the case. But as you can see, I very much enjoyed myself going to the Raw Mint experience. All of these, the majority of these I have struck myself, barring the ones that were available before I started going in October 2018. But I have a fantastic time every time I go. It's lovely meeting subscribers, other coin collectors, some of my friends that come along on these trips on a regular basis. So maybe I will see you at the Raw Mint experience at some point, and if you do see me there, do come along and say hi, or give me a wave and I'll come over and say hi myself. Anyway, that being said, links as usual are in the description of this video across to my coin collecting Discord server if you'd like to come and join me and other coin collectors there, as well as links to my other social media channels, the PO Box address if you'd like to write into me, and a link to the Britannia Coin Company's YouTube channel, the company I work for as my day job, so please check them out too. All it leaves me to do now is thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more coins. Bye.